It's really important to me and really important for people to hear and to understand that creating my jewelry is not just about the materials, the elements, the designs, the colors. It's about the connection and about the people. And yes, of course, I use all natural products. I use some really exquisite materials to make things. The designs are based on my interpretation of numerology and my interpretation of the messages that I get from the divine universe. And they're very special. So you're not just buying a piece of jewelry here. You're not just wearing some rocks. You're wearing energy. As you may be aware, we're all 99.999% energy. That's how we make it to this planet. That's how we live on this planet. This is how we share on this planet. And that's how we leave the planet as the beautiful energy that we are. For me, grounding is really, really important as part of this process. And so I'm going to walk everybody through a little grounding exercise. Feel free to, do it with me if you'd like. The energy grounding is really about doing some breathing, a quick breathing work, and creating an energetic space that is safe and clean and clear. So we're going to go through it. First of all, physical centering is really simple. It really just means centering and centering our spine and our chakras and our elbows and all of our body parts to be connected to the earth with your feet flat on the ground, so we can send any negative energy back to the earth where it belongs. Placing your feet on the ground and grounding is so important, as grounding us literally helps us to reel in anything that is going on in our neural network, ourself, our energetic person, internal, external, that will help us through our day. I always rest my hands on my lap, and I've made a habit of, whenever I do meditate, or sometimes meditating is just as simple as sitting and having a prayer or a conversation with the universe or whatever it is, but palms up to receive the energy that comes from the universe. And that helps flush everything through you and charge you with the beautiful energy that we need. Try to keep your shoulders always relaxed. Any of the things that are tension in our body basically create stoppages in our energy and don't allow it to flow and to help us. And keeping our spine aligned is something so hard for people with trauma, as we often are hunched over looking down, but it really helps widen and lengthen our body to allow us to receive the things that we need. So first, we're going to start with just a quick sacred breath, and that's what I do for every piece that I create. And when I get down and I sit down and I start creating, I do some breath about intentions, and everything I mean is about, or build is about, intentions. So together, we will take 3 intentional breaths. The first breath is going to be to release what doesn't serve us. The second breath is to open to divine protection, to the protection of the energy universe, whatever you want to call it. And the third breath is to connect to our collective warrior spirit. Our collective warrior spirit is what I really try to infuse, and that's something that provides protection and strength. So together, we just can do 3 breaths. The first breath is to release things that don't serve us, energy that's negative or positive. We want the negative energy out, internal or external. The second breath is to open us to the divine protection of the universe, the energy of the beautiful collective souls of humanity. And the third is to connect to our warrior spirits, the one of which each of us have. Then I always work to create an energy field or a field of protection around me, because I want every piece of jewelry to reach the person it's going to wear in its purest forms. I go through a cleansing process before it's packed, but I want to do a quick visualization exercise. And visualization is anything that you'd like to focus on. I like to think of colors. The beautiful thing about color is the ancient interpretations of color are consistent with the scientific interpretations of today. So they are important. So visualize with me a golden light forming around you, around your space, around your family, around everybody you love. Here or there, that golden light protects us from anything that might interpret our divine connection and our connection to the healing collective. I also ask blue light to come down. Blue light carries extraordinary energy of healing. Why lapis lazuli is such a strong healing element. I ask the energy to flow through me. And I ask white light of protection to form around all of our viewers, all of the people that we love. I ask for the purple flame of transformation. Transformation and spiritual connection are so important. That's why amethyst is so important. It creates that incredible flame of transformation, allowing us to evolve. And the green one, which is such an important color for so many of us, it's our heart healing energy to heal the things that have been wounded. You may have seen some of my posts. To be human is to have trauma, big or small. And the green healing light is to help heal our hearts. As we create our energy field, it protects all of us. And I'm just going to go through a little bit of a chant or a mantra that I'd like to share. As we gather in this virtual and sacred space, I want to acknowledge our collective strength and our collective pure intentions. I always honor, as we all do, each person's healing journey, knowing that all pain is relative. Some of us bigger than others, but it is all pain and it's all part of the human process. And so I honor everybody's trauma. More importantly, I honor their choice to heal. I want to create this sacred space for transformation so the things we talk about today hold. And I want to, again, to connect to our divine guidance. And for me, it is spirit. It is my guides and my spirit team, including Saint Michael and Raphael and Zachiel, my beautiful mother Gloria. God, creator, divine ancestors, and all of our sacred warriors, all of the archangels, all of the people that stand with us and behind us and beside us. Together we declare, and you're welcome to say these with me, because I think it's so important that every day, whether we're making something or doing our work or just hanging out, is to really go out and do a few things that remind us of how important we are. Together we declare and we proclaim we are worthy of protection. We are worthy of love. In fact, we were born love, worthy the moment that our eyes opened. We are capable of great love and deserve great love. We are sacred warriors, all of us, with the message of truth. And truth always overpowers the darkness. We have all chosen to heal and to heal together as a collective. This is the spirit of collective healing and the true spirit of honor and humanity. And most importantly, we have to recognize that we are from the light. We are born without shame, without darkness. And unlike the conditioning of traditional religions, Christianity, etc., you were not born with sin. You were born utterly perfect, utterly capable. No boundaries, no glass ceilings. Those are products of conditioning, and therefore we release ourselves from that. I acknowledge all of our ancestors, Jesus Christ, an ancestor, all of our ancient ancestors and our bloodlines and others to get us here. All of the wisdom that so many religions have tried to covet as their own is simply knowledge that belongs to all of us. And everything that we build, I make, that we touch as people who have chosen to walk in the light are about honoring ancient knowledge, honoring our ancestors, the divine ones and the other, and understanding that we are created divine. We should walk like the divine. And all of the work that I do and that we do is made with sacred healing energy. The energy that I am creating now in this field, which does take a lot of my energy, is the energy that I make the jewelry with. Every stone that I touch, every piece of hematite, every material that I use is designed to channel and conduct that energy. We're going to talk a little bit about my creation space and the process. And what I've set up for myself is, yes, I do a lot of mineral work, a lot of work with minerals and gemstones and things like that. And I'm very particular about the elements that I use. I don't craft all of my beads. We procure them and source them however they are sourced to make sure that they are pure and that they are the correct thing. And when we're sourcing particular things such as, cobalt and turquoise and the various crystals that I use, I always endeavor to go for the most authentic. And sometimes I go super authentic or super unique for turquoise, Kingman turquoise, for example, for amber, Baltic amber, which I find to be the most powerful, for obsidian from South America whenever possible. Tiger's eye, the most pure form, and I avoid dyes and things like that. I also incorporate some standard elements into a lot of things. The beads themselves, the stones themselves, which as we talk through this, each stone has a healing property and energy and a frequency that they can measure that it sends out. But I also encode into every piece of jewelry, every creation I make, elements of divine knowledge, such as numerology and astrology. Color itself and how we interact with color is about divine understanding of color. And again, earlier I'd mentioned this, but the divine interpretations of colors as we find in the chakra chart and many of those really align quite magically with the colors and the scientific interpretation today when we can measure brain waves and how the body reacts and compare it to physical manifestations. And it's just so beautiful to me that science and true ancient wisdom, true spirituality align so beautifully. Blue is blue, and it means the same thing across both some of the colors we talked about before. Green is green, about healing and heart and resilience. These are all mapped modern and old together. It is quite beautiful. Even in traditional religions, they use colors to define what archangels do. When you go read about the archangels, you find that the colors that are most representative of them, perhaps is purple for one saint, blue for Saint Michael, etc., that they all really align with the strengths that this particular being, spirit, or other are meant to do. So it's important to know that these are all really universal. All of the space I also create, I really endeavor not to use any plastics. I do store some of the beads in plastics, but when they come out to work on them, I use a variety of different things. I really, really am driven by color, texture, design, and most important, the beautiful, magnificent culture that we find in every human being and what they have to offer. I'm so drawn to Native American, some indigenous African, Japanese culture. Japanese and Native American have driven everything. I try to put all my beads in clay when I work or on wood when I work. I try not to work on a plastic table or something that's manufactured. And in my belief, this allows the energy of me touching the clay, which is very porous, and me working with all the same types of materials that I use, that it stores some of my energy. And this isn't just hocus pocus. This has all been proven in science about how our energy conducts through everything that we touch, how it's stored in inanimate objects, stored in our bodies, stored in the universe, stored in the air. It's all about energy, and its ability to do different things. So I use a lot of these, and these are all things that I try to source from areas that mean something to me. Little Tokyo, which is the heart of Japantown, in California. Many of the Native American artifacts I have are the real deal, so I really try to work with those. And as I package things, I'm very careful to make sure that I'm putting it on selenite that I've charged properly in the moon or whatever it may be that I'm using that day. There'll be some interactive moments again, but really when I talk about divine guidance, in what I'm building, a lot of that is the sequencing, my understanding of me and my place in the universe, and my friends and my colleagues' place in the universe. When somebody asks me something to make for them, I do look at some astrology. I do really look at their numerology, their expression number, their life path number, and I try to encode some of it in there because I believe the numerology really drives things. Number 11 is very important to me. My astrology leads me to number 1, which is a primal force, and also number 7, which is a knowledge keeper. But there are so many different ones, and if you choose to engage me on a custom piece, I do sequence a lot of that into you. But all of my pieces, I do sequence the things into it, and I'll talk about that process, from myself, but also from the things and the people in my life that are most important. I use 3 a lot, and 3 was my mother's number. Gloria, who is not with us anymore in this physical realm, but she is still with me every day. Um, the energy of mother, that maternal energy that my mother did such a good job of providing, that helped me get through everything. I want to share with everybody. A little bit about my journey. Just everybody knows my background. It's been quite a healing journey over the last little over 2 years. I realized all of my memories. I had never remembered what happened to me, only to be realized that from age 6 to 18, I was more or less the toy for the Catholic Church, abused and raped hundreds of times, forced into prostitution, forced into child pornography, and they took everything from me through the age of 20. Well, they didn't take everything. They did not take my light. They didn't take my connection to spirit. It was always there. It was always protecting me. And today, as I march forward with all of my brothers and sisters that have also suffered trauma, I know that our collective force is driving accountability, maybe slower than we would like within the church, but light always wins. Throughout my process, when I was young, I was taken to a place called Camp St. Malo. And Camp St. Malo was just a mill for children. It was a horrific place. A young boy was murdered there, at least one. I was abused there. Many of the people I know were abused there. It was designed to do what it was. But there is a place that I was taught to make leather jewelry and leather things like wallets and a variety of things that they would sell in the gift shop. And it was by all means not a pleasant experience because it was highly traumatic. However, I chose that medium because my father was a gifted metallurgical engineer and my mother a beautiful artist, and I was surrounded by these things. But jewelry making was mine, so I took it back and I decided to do something really, really good with it, which is what I do today. They took something from I can't have, and I do always mention something. They took something else from me or tried to take something else. What I find to be nefarious is priests call themselves fathers, and they tried to take my father's position, and that's how they were able to do what they did. And I've taken that back as well. They are not my father. My father is my father. The universe is my father. I have many fathers. It is not them. But that brings me to this place of healing, and I simply want to share the things that I believe provide protection, that channel and allow us to manifest true healing, true abundance, true joy, true happiness, true love. So all of those things are incorporated into my work. You may notice with some of my pieces, and I worked through some of this, I'm going to show a couple of my pieces, starting with our Angel Armor collection, which comes in several variants. And the collection was inspired originally and still is to honor and to provide something that survivors of child sexual abuse, and I reference child, it's really anybody, but the impacts of sexual abuse on children is very different because it happens in our developmental stages and it really puts a wrench in our entire development of our neural cells, of our energetic cells, of ourselves. So, but it comes in two variants. The other ones I've been creating are really for all survivors of the human experience. Again, to be human is to have some form of trauma, some big, some small. The key is making a choice to heal, making a choice to join the collective of healing, and to really push away from anything that would draw us back into the dark. We have angel armor, and there's several pieces on my website, and then we have our archangel armor. And the archangel armor is very unique because it contains an element that I'm really passionate about. And I'm going to come back to that. But for our archangel piece, which is something I'll put here in front of the camera in a moment, citrine has been at the core of most of my work for survivors of such, abuse. And the reason I chose citrine is not only known as some things like the merchant stone and for abundance, and it's about abundance, not just financial abundance, but abundance in joy, abundance in love, abundance in wonderful experiences, connections, all of it. Citrine is really designed to channel and amplify the energy of everything that abundance means and healing means. And that's about joy, and that's about self-love. And that's about success and creativity. All the gifts that we were given as we were created from that divine spark of love are contained in citrine. So I use it a lot. I also use chevrons in all of my pieces, and I'm just going to see if I can't flip over now and do a quick view of my start view on my phone. Oh, I don't know if my co-host can turn on my video. Thank you. Beautiful. And so I want to show folks this particular piece. All the pieces that I work on, I do a lot of chevrons. And the reason I was drawn to chevrons, you do see chevrons in a lot of ancient arts and everywhere. It is a symbol of many things. The military chose it as a symbol of rank and file. However, the symbolism for ancient civilizations going all the way back to Mesopotamia is about a divine and ascension, choosing to ascend to our truest selves. In another episode that we do a recording on, we'll talk a little bit about what ascension means and how our jewelry can support the ascension process along with many other things. But the chevron is important. In this particular case, my chevrons are always typically hematite or brass being my more premium product. Hematite and brass are really important because they're conductors, they are amplifiers. So any of the crystals that I use, I typically will always put in some kind of quartz. And most of my work is because quartz is the universal healer, and it also amplifies all the other stones. But hematite, brass, copper are highly conductive materials, pyrite, etc. And we'll talk about those. Highly conductive, and why is it important to me, and why was the design done in that way? Is you'll see that on the piece that I have here, that the chevrons are facing towards the citrine, which really help it amplify the citrine itself. And then at the very back of it, you do see one other stone and a couple of chevrons there, which is bringing for neck bracelets. It brings that energy back to the vein that connects to our heart. I want to deliver the energy straight to our heart for these very important bracelets. There are two schools of thinking: right arm, left arm. Right being in or left being out. There's also a school of thought that says whichever your stronger is, whichever your weaker hand is. However, it is really what's right for you. There is a difference between inbound energy and outbound energy. But in this particular case, it's about absorbing the inbound energy of the universe to bring it to my heart, provide that really important healing. You'll notice in many of my necklaces, I do the same thing, except I put the chevrons in the back. And the reason that I put them in, some chevrons in the back is to deliver the energy of the necklace into our crown chakra, which really is our conductive element of ourselves. We're walking antennas to connect us to the divine universe and to our guides, our ancient ancestors, God, if you want to call it that, and allow them to work with us in their quiet and spectacular way. So these are all the pieces. Now, in this particular piece that I have, I integrated some really nice pieces. This is available on our website. It's Archangel Armor. These are custom crafted, so we get your size and things like that. They use a premium brass chevron. I use a total of 10 chevrons. The reason I use 10 in so many pieces, particularly my bracelets, is 10 in numerology reduces to number 1, which is a primal force. And I am a primal force. That's my numerology. Every number is important. There's no hierarchy. But mine is particularly powerful because of the work that I've chosen to channel. And I want to talk about that just really briefly. We can all choose to channel. There is no hierarchy or something that says you can't do it, you have to be born special. It is about simply connecting with ourselves, source, whatever you want to call it, spirit, and the universe. So this particular piece, I've incorporated a total of 10 chevrons, which I do frequently, to transfer my primal force power. This one also has Baltic amber, and I'm really particular on amber. If you're out shopping or see things, you'll often notice some things made with amber. Amber has been revered by the Germans in World War II. They were so obsessed with its protective properties, its healing properties, that they stole from the Russians, who also were obsessed with it, an entire room made of amber because they would hide in there. They believed it provided infinite protection from external energies, man-made and others. Also, amber, as you know, is forged from past Jurassic Age. Amber is typically made from a tree sap, and it simply fossilizes over the years. But it contains the energy of anything that really flowed into it, and it is really amazing at creating an energy for positivity, for really strong healing, for protection from negative spirits, from negative energy, and really amplifying the connection. So I thought on this particular piece, it'd be really amazing to put that with the citrine and add the amber to the citrine. So it provides this just iconic energy that is related to your guides, your ancestors, and your spirit, all of which that we have. And then as I move around the piece, you'll notice I have included smoky quartz. And I try to use quartz in a lot of the things that I do, again, because they're universal healers. They're charged with energy, and they help amplify the energy of the other ones. And the back is a piece of pyrite that is a really, really conductive piece that helps, again, get it up to our crown chakra. That's a great example. There's another piece that I'm just going to show briefly today that I also found to be very interesting in my process of healing. And for any of you that have been through massive healing, this type of really, really big trauma, or something that was so eventful in your life, for some of us it was abuse, for some of it could have been an accident, for some of us it could have been just an utterly neglectful family or maternal unit or paternal unit that has just wounded our ability to get there. But all of these events that come across us, the thing that I helped me the most is faith and believing in something, and particularly faith and believing in something that was so contorted during my youth, and so many of us were all products of thousands of years of manipulation by the Roman Catholic Church and other religions. However, it is really saying, no, I do believe in angels. I do believe that energy. They're not angels of any church. They are all our angels. There's an angel for every one of us. So you see a lot of wings in my work is because my angel, so many of them have walked with me on my journey, and they walk with all of us. I feel them. St. Michael, when I needed him, the most important angel, my mother, my angel of a fiance, Jake, my family, my friends, they're all angels, as we all are. So I like to use a lot of these pieces. In this particular piece that I put together, this one is called Primal Force of Fire, and I chose it because I want to infuse a lot of energy of astrology and fire into it. I'm using some really unique materials here. I'm using an incredible obsidian in here. They're all hematite that I did in gold. These particular hematite chevrons are a bit bigger, more kind of pronounced as a chevron. And then I'm using in this particular one a beautiful pyrite hand carved angel wing. And I call that an angel blade. And then I'm using the Baltic armor to flank it. And really, again, that angel wing to me really, really amplifies the energy of the piece. A couple of the other ones that I put together in some of our other healing products is our wraps. And I want to talk a little bit about that as well. This one is the one that I'd made early on, and I'm really particularly fond of our wraps. Is they can be either worn as a bracelet, as you see here, or wrapped a couple times here. And I love wrapping them on my wrist. You know, again, depending whether I'm doing inbound or outbound protection, is it provides like this ultimate energetic experience. And so when I do these, and they're typically custom made, I do have some ready made available on the website. However, these I really like making for people because they can wear it here when they need clarity to their heart directly, when it can touch their heart directly. Most of my necklaces are at about 22 inches, and of course we can customize that, but it is to get it as close to the heart as possible. There's no right or wrong in where to do them. Some people like a choker because it does protection for the throat chakra, some a little bit lower. And just as a reminder, all trauma, all of our pain, all of our suffering, all of our emotions live in our body, not our mind. They live in our energy. They live in our beautifully engineered self. But this particular piece is one I really like. I used a little bit different of a chevron. These are electroplated chevrons. They're green. They come in a configuration of 11 in this one. And 11 is my right path number. It's the number that says, Michael, good things are coming your way. You're doing the right thing. Stay on the right track. It could be as simple as I see 11 because I made a choice this morning not to live in the fires of my emotion and let it go out of control, or that somebody done something amazing for me, or I'm doing something that is marching towards healing, healing being the most important. But 11 is all over this piece. This piece, I also use a really nice garnet. Garnet has all kinds of properties, particularly around love, the ability to have romantic love, passion, and some of the fire that we may have lost during our healing process. Getting that fire back into us, that passion to be alive is really, really important to me. I'm a Sagittarius and I'm Italian, so I'm a little bit nutty, but I'm also bigger than life, and I love that. I like my fire, and fire is different for everybody. It doesn't have to be Sagittarius fire, but it can be any kind of fire. Then I use some check stones for the spacers, which I just love the color of burnt orange. Orange is a great color for sensuality. There's also a great color just for, when I say sensuality, it's not just human to human sensuality. There's sensuality in all of nature. It's in plants that we touch, the air that we breathe, the wind, the air, all of those things. And then peridot. And peridot I love. And as I've been in this journey, I share this because it's important. Some of the materials I love so much, like peridot, really exquisite tiger eye, kingman turquoise, Baltic amber, higher grade lapis lazuli, etc. Those minerals I have watched over the last 2 years go up in price at a record pace. My father was a miner, so we looked at a lot of these things, but the real ones like kingman turquoise, which is very old turquoise, like peridot, etc., I'm kind of moving out of the semi-precious space towards precious. You know, they've doubled and tripled in price in some cases. But peridot has incredible energy in line with green about resilience. And resilience is such an important word. Resilience is kind of the namestay, the most important energetic thing, the most important embodiment we can have in life. Because again, walking out in the world, even when we've gone through a healing process to get ourselves sturdied back up and evolve to the person that we want to be, we have to go back out in the world. And there's a whole bunch of assholes out there. So we have to interact with these people. So resilience is everything. And as you know, any healing journey in life is not an endpoint that we're going towards. Healing, again, not an endpoint. It's forever. It's evolutionary. We're never healed. We're not meant to be. We're simply meant to evolve and integrate all the learnings from the pains into our existence. So that's why I really love Peridot. It is about converting experiences using the energy of resilience into self-love, into the things that may hold us back, and making us a resilient, beautiful creatures that we are, the beautiful creations that we are. And this particular piece, it's also infused with something else I'm really passionate about. I like working with wood beads. I'm very particular on which ones that I use. I use really two elements. One is ancient walnut, which is really hard to find, and I use it a bit more rarely. Ancient olive is very, very important to me. The olive tree represents so many things in culture, and it's actually quite universal across all civilizations. But in the seats of civilization, Mesopotamia, Middle East, all these different things, um, the olive trees grow. In this particular one, all of the olive tree beads that I get are ancient and they're from Bethlehem. So I do have them sent and imported for the specific process. And Bethlehem, for whatever it is, I don't look at it as traditional seat of religions. It really is a spiritual place. Whatever happened there with our divine ancestors was very possible because it's heavily sought after. So this particular piece has a lot of that infused into it. And also the patterns and all of it are all sequenced in a way. The number of beads that I use, particularly in custom creations. For the off-the-shelf products, I do build a lot of 3, 7, 11, and 1 into them, which are my numbers, which I found to be helpful. They're my ancient ancestors' numbers as well. But when I do some custom pieces, or even some of the ones that you might see on the website, you can ask me to do some special sequencing, or I can sequence your numbers into it, or numbers that may be specific to an event that you're looking for. Our numerology evolves with us as we go. So there are points in our journey where a particular day or a month or a year or something that we're really wanting to have happen in our life happens, and I can help with that numerology and that interpretation as well. That is part of the energy work of my healing process. And again, I find it fascinating when I do the numerology analysis is that the colors that come out as a result of the stones that I create, that are chosen or I choose as this process, and a lot of the stones and materials also come to me via direct divine connection. I often will make a piece of jewelry not knowing who it's for, and then somebody calls and says, I want a custom piece, and that's made for them. And I look at the numerology and it matches up to the colors that the person already likes. It's all in the numbers and it's all in our connection. So that's a couple of the pieces that I have there. All the raw materials that I use, again, I place in as much organic space as I can, and then start building from there. So we've kind of gone through quite a few pieces. I have a couple of other pieces that I want to show, and I've showed you a basic or workspace tour. I have a separate space that I do create a lot of things in. And again, as I sit here and I work at night, I try to make sure that I have the right frequency. I'm very into frequency healing, the right music. I have the right incense going. I have my feathers. Feathers mean a lot to me. Birds are a sacred creation. Although I heard somebody last night saying that all birds are robots, maybe. That would make a lot of sense. Anyway, but every piece is blessed. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. I want to show a couple of other pieces before I move on to talking a little bit about the process for packaging. Recently, I kind of changed some of the designs. A lot of my pieces, you'll notice, have a lot of pendants on them. I like to have pendants. And please note, anything that you look at on my website, if you see something that you like and you just don't want the pendant, let me know and we'll make it for you. We can make things pretty quickly. Right now, if orders get into us by the 18th or so, we should be able to get the pieces out by Christmas, particularly for ready-made. But if you see a piece and you don't like the pendant there, I do put a lot of work into the core, into the center of all the pieces that I wear, because again, that is the kind of the power and the energetic epicenter of it, and it's also it's closest to our heart. I do work with a lot of pyrite, and on this this most recent one, it was really designed for perhaps a more masculine flow. This one can also be worn as a wrap, or can be worn as a necklace, that exact right height. This one used snowflake obsidian. Obsidian carries a lot of protective energy on it. Snowflake obsidian has some special qualities on it, which I put on my website. Don't have time to go through all of them today. but I'm also using a lot of hematite in this. You'll notice I use a lot of spacers, and that's designed to continue to create an energetic flow. The hematite spacers that you see that I use in a lot of stuff, I also use brass. I never use any sort of plastic or polymers or things like that. I occasionally will use glass, but hematite, brass, pyrite, those types of really, really good authentic minerals are important, but I put them in between, and so it creates this energetic flow of the necklace or of the bracelet that keeps going and feeding upon itself and feeding upon itself and feeding upon itself, almost as it's creating this halo of energy that gets absorbed into the place that we need it. And depending on the stone that we use, some of them are delivering energy to our crown, to our throat, to our heart, to our sacral, to all the different chakras that we have, but it really is about building that energy and let the energy flow through my piece, picking up the energy from your environment, from your room, from your beautiful self, and keeping that energy vibrating really fast and spinning really fast. So it all is all over us when we wear our pieces. I know when I deliver a piece to somebody that's a custom piece and I hand it to them. Oddly enough, I always have separation anxiety. Every piece I make is special. But I'm never so honored when I give a piece and somebody picks it up and they say, I can feel the energy. That's what it was designed to do. So buy one, check it out, and then we'll send it to you. For those who have made pieces before, I think you can attest to it. I hope that you can feel the energy. In addition to this particular one, all the clasps that I use, I can do sterling clasps. Most of the ones that I use are just metal clasps. I do a lot of work with brass. I find brass, again, to be very malleable, very durable. It patinas well, can be cleaned up easily, etc. And some of the other pieces, I'm just going to go back to this other piece that I showed. I do use some magnetics, and the magnetics I do like. If we get a high quality magnets really amplify, get that energy spinning really, really fast. And again, typically the magnet ends up on the back of your neck, which is great for the crown chakra, or on one of your wrists, which is great for the heart chakra. So you'll find some of the magnetic clasps there. Some people don't like them. I found that people that are a bit darker, they tell me that the magnets hurt, and I kind of go, well, that's kind of the point, because you shouldn't be wearing it. You haven't made the right choices. This other piece that I want to show is a little bit about my interpretations of culture. And culture is really important to me. We all drawn to different cultures that we like and that we love. Native American was always around me, being raised in Colorado, and truly, truly God's chosen people, the universe's chosen people that lived in complete synchrony with the earth and synchrony with the elements. Japanese culture, the warrior spirit, and this purity and the simplicity of Japanese culture, and the colors and the textures, not to be overly complicated or gaudy. All kinds of reason I use this. This one is inspired a bit on also Greek, but in this one I use a lot of lapis lazuli, and this is a really, really, really exquisite set of lapis lazuli. These other beads I use on a lot of my work. I think they make a nice masculine effect for some cases, but also just a really nice texture. They're solid brass snake vertebrae beads made to look like that. They interlock with each other, but I like putting them between because of the look, and it gives it a bit of a tribal kind of stance. But they also are kind of a little bit heavier, so you can really feel the piece in your hand. And they're really, really unique. And the idea of snake vertebrae with energy work is about expelling demons or expelling energy from things like snake demons, etc., because there are light versions and dark versions of everything. This piece, though, I incorporated fish. For me, koi and goldfish are among my most important. In Japanese culture, it represents ascension and connection and peace and all kinds of things. Fish also peace, Christianity, Buddha, and Buddhist, all kinds of different ones really revere the fish. So this one, I have the two fish flanking the lapis lazuli as if they're drinking the water, the energy, and help delivering it to our body. And that's really what I was inspired on that one. And then I'm going to show us one more piece today, and then going to kind of open up the floor and talk a little bit about a few other ones. Is one piece that is particularly special to me. My fiance Jake and I were up at a mineral show up in Joshua Tree, and we came across a guy working with Covelight. Covelight. Covelight is a really rare stone, and it's hard to come across, but it has a really unique blue sheen. It has an incredibly high iron content. It's very conductive, and its properties are about incredibly amplified connection to divine, and being able to use all of the divine energy in the universe, our ancient ancestors, collective's healing, our brothers and our sisters, to really channel energy into us for powerful healing, powerful connection, powerful realization. Understanding our place in the universe is what this piece is about. As part of my journey as a young boy, I was obsessed with Star Wars. That's how I survived, to be honest. I went and hid in the world of Star Wars when things weren't rough or when they were rough. But for me, the universe and the cosmos, I did a lot of posts about people as looking down doesn't do much for us. It's looking at the earth. And that's where we should be sending a lot of things that we don't need. But look up. If there's any question as to what a spectacular creation we are, what absolute magic we are, and most importantly, how incredibly loved we are by the universe, by God, whatever you want to call it. All you have to do is go out on a dark night and look up in the sky. And I would really challenge anybody to look up and go, it's anything less than magnificent. The universe and our modern interpretations of the galaxy, universe, the cosmos are pretty profound. We understand there's dimensions and all kinds of things that are just incredible to comprehend. It is that complex, as are our beautiful selves. I always loved the movie Interstellar, but I like the word interstellar. One of my gifts is to be able to occasionally float between dimensions or be transdimensional. And we'll talk about that perhaps some other time. But this one is called Primal Force of Interstellar. And it's a particularly incredible piece. The Covalite is very rare. It is wrapped in sterling, solid sterling. It's an exceptional piece. When I wear it, I can absolutely feel it. And again, close to my heart, it is the ultimate in supercharging our connection to our ancestors and to the continuum of love and light. And I've done a couple posts on what the continuum of love and light is, but it's important because we're all part of it. We're all connecting to it. In addition to that, I included some really cool beads here, which are also Baltic amber. And again, Baltic amber, typically they're not all round and they're not all the same shape. That's how you can tell if they're real. These are all certified Baltic amber. I have them brought in from the Middle East, from the Dead Sea. The other one that I'm using here is also a mineral that has become very, very sought after over the last couple of years, and that's shungite. Shungite is the ultimate energetic protector. It actually has properties scientifically that block EMFs. Folks, we're just walking antennas. We are here like picking up everything in the universe. But shungite is a powerful deflector. They build entire rooms out of shungite for people that want to experience the most ultimate inner peace. It blocks all energy out. Manufacturers of things also use shungite to protect special electronics from EMFs, something that comes from a nuclear bomb or an EMP blast or things like that. So the point here on this one is, as we all travel through life and our experience and our journey, you probably notice this. People that have dark energy, living or dead, really don't like people that walk in the light. And this particular piece, I wear a lot of shungite because I've experienced a lot of psychic attacks, spiritual attacks, etc. And also just walking by some of the predator energy that's out in the world that you can make a choice to hide in your home or go out in the world. That's why I find shungite to be so particular. And I use very specific shungite. It's Russian shungite. It's a very, very, very high grade shungite. Shungite was delivered to the earth on meteors. And so it's really important. It reminds me to go back to my archangel piece. And then also including some obsidian. I'm using premium brass chevrons in this particular one, and I'm using smoky quartz as an amplifier on the end of it. So a really spectacular piece. That one's called Primal Force of Interstellar. And then just last note, I want to go back really quick to our Archangel line, which is up there, and our Angel Armor line. The Archangel line contains two beads, very special beads of meteorite. Typically a 4 or 6 millimeter bead flanking the citrine. Meteorite also carries the most extraordinary energy of divine connection and really designed to connect us with the universe from space, certified from space, high in iron content, magnetic, and very, very rare. This was from the Diablo meteorite field in Arizona. They're hard to come across. The beads are very expensive each, so I include two, which is why the pieces are so much more expensive. But meteorite has become heavily sought after and is due a lot to the patterning when you cut open meteorite. The coding of the universe is in there, I promise you. So if you'd like to have anything, let me know on that one. The last thing I want to cover today, and then I'm going to open it up for any kind of questions that people have, is just my process for creation. And this particular piece I'm going to go through with one of the pieces that I recently created for a friend of mine who asked for some work to be done that they really needed it. This particular piece, which I showed a little bit earlier, has a lot of pyrite on it. But before I package all my pieces, I kind of let them set for a bit. And the place that I let them set is on sage. I'm really particular on the sage. I do dry my own when I can. This one is Palo Santo, and then I also use whatever form of selenite I can get. I like to use the selenite bars versus using a selenite bowl. I feel the bars allow the energy to vibrate more profoundly, and also it's pretty to look at. I like the way it looks. It reminds me of another movie that I liked a lot when I was a kid, was Star Wars. If you remember, in the beginning, he was surrounded by what looked like selenite things, but I always put it here. I use a couple of things that I came across in Little Tokyo. I do respect so much Japanese culture. Squid and cherry blossom are my scents, and everything that I use, I try to keep it out there. Squid and cherry blossom are profound healing incenses or fragrances, also made here and from Japan, of the real thing. So they're all blessed with that. The selenite, if I can put it overnight, I'll let it kind of charge and cleanse it. Selenite is excellent for cleansing. The sage to provide some protection. I do burn incense as I do all of this. I think the one I have now just went out. But I use incense and I do some smudging as well as I prepare pieces. This one has been smudged, so for today I won't do it, but I do bestow it on a simple blessing, and I want to talk about that. The blessing is simply a conversation with me and the universe. We can all do it. We're all intended to do it. You don't have to be a priest. Certainly, it'd probably help you not to be one, but it's something that we can do. We can bless anything. We all have the energy. There's a secret that I like to share. We're all divine creations. We're all made of the same stuff as God, if you will. So yeah, we can do all of these things. So when I'm channeling and praying, it's very simple. It's about the person, and I'm going to go through my ritual. The key to prayer, blessing, any of those things, is about the purity of your intention, the beauty of your intention, and about the authenticity of what you're doing. And sometimes just taking a few minutes out of a day or 30 seconds or whatever it is, that is the authenticity and the intention that the universe looks to channel. It's taking a little extra time. So I'm going to pass this one on. I say a similar ritual: divine ancestors, God, spirit, angels, archangels, creator, creators, angels, and my archangel Michael. Please create a protective field around this as I transfer the energy of my love, the collective love, divine healing into this piece. May it provide protection, provide for abundance, healing, and peace for whoever wears it. May it dissipate and dismantle any energy which is not for the good of the individual that's wearing this, and send it back to the earth where it belongs. Let it create a protective field around this person so they may walk in peace, they may walk with love, and so that they can achieve abundance in anything that they're looking after, remembering to stay in the love and the light. Thank you, universe, God, creator, mother. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for hearing me. And thank you for helping me transition all of this energy to the person that receives this. I love you. I always tell universe, spirit, creator, ancestors that I love them. I thank them. And they can have some of my energy because they need it too. So as I do that, I package all of my pieces in organic materials. Depending on what it is, I use a linen cloth, or I use a variety of different things, or I'll use a wood box. This one is a linen cloth. And if you order from me, you do get something beautiful. And anybody that orders a necklace today of $100 or more, we're also including a free angel armor bracelet. We'll connect with you when you place your order as to what color you would like. But as I place them together, I use a bit of suede twine or an organic plant-based suede, depending on what people like. I do a lot of work with feathers. Feathers are very important to me, so I typically add a piece of feather, sage, and then I bind it with a scroll that tells you a little bit about the piece. The scroll, to me, as you open up that scroll, has a message that is the message for all of my jewelry, for all of life, for all of creation, for every person. The message is simple: You were born loved, and anybody that tells you otherwise is full of shit. You are absolutely spectacular in divine creation, and you don't need anybody or anything to access the beauty of the divine universe. You are loved. You deserve love. It's that simple. That is our session today. Thank you so much for joining, and I just want to open up for any questions before we close up the session. And we'll be doing a few more of these, but thank you again for taking the time. So I'm just going to open it up. Anybody that wants to talk, please unmute yourself and feel free to ask a question. And on our website today is a 30% coupon. And also any orders placed for the folks in this call, we'll include for bracelets. So thank you. Any questions? I'm opening it up. I'll shut up. Quiet crowd. Thank you, everybody, for joining. May your week be filled with joy, peace, light, success. Achieve whatever it is you need to achieve. And thank you for being you. I love you and have a wonderful afternoon. Good.